Hello, friends, and welcome to the Week 7 edition of TXN Sports World NFL Saturday. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined by good old MF Michael Fletcher. We are awaiting the presence, maybe, of Michael Bullock. If he comes in, we'll catch him up on what he missed. If not, then we'll have him tomorrow night for our special edition of Talking Wrestling TXN, our recap of Halloween Havoc. And all I'm going to say is that I know we're going to have a lot to say about the main event of tonight's show. That's all I'm going to say. So that's a small little spoiler. So with that, Week 7 of the NFL, it got underway this past Thursday night. And whoa, what's this? An entertaining game for once? Yeah, we got one. The New Orleans Saints and the Arizona Cardinals. After two weeks of games, the previous couple of weeks, oh boy, did the Saints and the Cardinals, oh boy, did they deliver. And I know Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit had to have been counting their blessings for this one, because these two teams, the Saints and the Cardinals, combined to score more points than the four teams in the previous two games combined. Those two games combined for a total of 40 points. 21 in that Colt Bronco game, 19 in the Commanders and the Bears. This game, 76, as the Arizona Cardinals defeated the New Orleans Saints by a score of 42-34 on Thursday night at State Farm Stadium. Kyler Murray, 20 of 29, 204 yards and a touchdown. Eno Benjamin, 92 yards rushing and a touchdown. DeAndre Hopkins did not lose a beat. He didn't have any football rust on the night after his first game after a 6-game suspension. 10 catches, 103 yards. 2 interceptions. For the defense did not have any sacks, but they had 2 interceptions, and both of them were pick sixes. And that definitely made the difference in the game on Thursday night. On the New Orleans side, Andy Dalton, 30 of 47, 361 yards, 4 touchdowns, but threw 3 interceptions. Alvin Kamara, only 49 yards rushing to lead the team. Chris Olave, 106 yards receiving. Johnson, 2 receiving touchdowns, and Shaheed had a receiving touchdown of his own. Cam Jordan, and Davis with 2 sacks. And yeah, what a game this ended up being this past Thursday night, as Arizona improves to 3-4. The Saints dropped to 2-5. And according to the schedule here, the New Orleans Saints will go home next week. They will go back home and they will host the Las Vegas Raiders. Whereas the Arizona Cardinals next week, they will be in action. Yep, and they will also be in action next week, as they got to go to Minnesota to take on the Vikings. So there's the story with all that. And also when it comes to week number 7 of this season, the Buffalo Bills, the Super Bowl champion LA Rams, the Minnesota Vikings, and the Philadelphia Eagles. Those are your bye teams for this week. So we got all that squared away. So MF, come on in. After 2 weeks of dud games, the New Orleans Saints and the Arizona Cardinals finally deliver an entertaining game on Thursday Night Football. Arizona winning 42-34.
Yeah, it was an excellent game. It was an excellent match. We were hoping for something big. We were hoping for something good, and we finally got it, man. And we got the payoff. It took a little bit some time, took a little bit while to get there, but we got there. And yeah, if you're an NFL fan, you're saying finally we got something good. And if you're Jeff Bezos, the guy who owns Amazon Prime and basically put in all this money to get the NFL, he must be very happy, saying, well, it's about time we got ourselves a good matchup, because I'm wondering how nervous he's getting, after those last two clunkers. But this time to get a really good one like that, even if I'm Jeff Bezos, I'm very happy with what I just saw. So nah, this was excellent. Great game. A little bit of some drama with Arizona. Of course, Kyler Murray got into it with Cliff Kingsbury about certain play calls that should have been called, but at the end, the right team won. We all said that Arizona was going to win it, so Arizona won. Great win for them, and yeah, it's now up to the remaining games. So Anthony, it's yours.
All right, MF, and we're going to start off the Week 7 slate, the Sunday slate, with a divisional matchup out of the AFC North, a game that comes in at number 4 on our side of the ledger. It's our number 4 game of the week, as it will be the Cleveland Browns squaring off against the Baltimore Ravens from M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore, Maryland. On CBS, Kevin Harlan, Trent Green, and Melanie Collins will have the call. Baltimore opening up as a 6.5-point favorite. The series history very one-sided. Baltimore leads it 34-12. But both teams split last year. Both teams won at home. So Baltimore won in Baltimore 16-10. They've won the last 2 meetings in Baltimore, as a matter of fact. Cleveland last won in Baltimore back in 2019. That was a 40-25 win for Cleveland in Baltimore that year. So you know how we always do it, what to watch for, the bold prediction, the stat to know, the fantasy betting nugget, and then, of course, the FPI prediction and the score prediction. So here we go. The Browns and Ravens are the 2 worst finishers in the NFL. In the fourth quarter of the season, Cleveland has allowed a league-high 67 points, and Baltimore has been outscored by 42 points, which is the worst scoring margin in the NFL. Lamar Jackson and Jacoby Brissett have combined for 2 touchdown passes and 7 interceptions in the fourth quarter. Jackson will not throw an interception, breaking a 4-game streak. While he tossed 4 picks in last season's home win over the Browns, Jackson will avoid turning the ball over this time around against a beleaguered Cleveland defense. The Ravens' 3 losses after leading by double digits this season are tied for their 3rd most in a season in franchise history, doing so in their inaugural season in 1996 and most recently in 2016. Package up David Njoku's past 4 games and extend them for a full season, 1,309 receiving yards. The tight end position has been a wasteland outside of the elite, but Njoku has been a nice surprise with consistent production. Cleveland games are 5-1 to the over this season. 3 straight Baltimore games have gone under the total. The FPI likes the Baltimore Ravens in this one, 65.5%, basically 66% going with the Baltimore Ravens. And I think this is where the Baltimore Ravens will get back on track. I'm gonna say 30-20. I think Baltimore will pull away in the fourth quarter and seal it. So 30-20, the Baltimore Ravens. I think they'll get it done. But if they were to somehow lose, with the way they've been playing lately, I wouldn't be surprised. So with all that being said, MF, I mean, here's a team that could very easily be 6-0 right now, but because their 3 losses, all choke jobs against Miami, Buffalo, and then last week against the Giants.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I kind of feel like it can go a number of ways, and like you said, especially with Baltimore and the way they've been playing lately, you kind of get a little frustrated. There has to be a little bit of a frustration because of the fact that you really thought that you had a great season going. Lamar Jackson has this prove me year right now with with a contract year, trying to prove everybody that he's worthy of the money that he's getting, and all of a sudden, couple of bad luck, couple of great games where maybe they were handling their business, and all of a sudden, yeah, they went south on a couple of games, and you're thinking, what's going on? But I kind of feel like this is their moment. I think they're gonna bounce back. I think they're gonna turn it around. I got them beating the Cleveland Browns. The Browns started out pretty good. They started out a little promising, but now all of a sudden they've been losing games left and right, and they haven't been really good lately. They're actually losers of 3 in a row, and they've lost 4 out of their first 5. So I mean, something's got to give here. So I think Baltimore will win. So I got Baltimore winning. Anthony, it's yours.
All right, MF, and you'll be leading off on our next matchup as we go over to the NFC side of things. As this game will be over on Fox. We got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers squaring off against the Carolina Panthers from Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, with Kenny Albert, Jonathan Vilma, and Shannon Spake on the call. Tampa Bay opening up as a 13-point favorite in this one. And Tampa has won the last 4 meetings in this series, unless they played earlier this year, which I don't think they have yet. So, to the best of my knowledge, just want to double check that real quick. All right, let's see. I think this is this is their first meeting. Okay, I didn't think so. All right, so this is their first meeting of 2022. The Bucs have won the last 4 meetings. They've swept the last 2 years, and they won in Charlotte last year, 32-6, and then 46-23 the year before. Matter of fact, the Bucs have won the last 3 meetings in Charlotte. The Panthers haven't beaten the Bucs at home since 2018. That was a 42-28 final. So MF, I mean, oh boy, we got a little bit of some things here. First of all, Tampa Bay losing in Pittsburgh last week. Brady had another crybaby tantrum.
Yeah.
What else is new? And then on the other side of the coin, things keep getting worse for Carolina. Their franchise running back, Christian McCaffrey, has been traded, and we'll let you know who he's been traded to in just a little bit. We don't want to give too much away, but
yeah,
something has to give here, MF. You got to imagine Tampa Bay's got to bounce back as things keep getting worse and worse in Carolina. And then look what happened with Robbie Anderson last week, pulling Noggin Diva nonsense.
And actually, he got traded as well. He was
Arizona.
traded all the way out to Arizona. So yeah, no, I think what has happened is basically you're saying it. As much as a lot of drama has been going on with Tampa, Carolina is a complete and utter mess. Lost their head coach, lost one of their top receivers, lost their top running back. I think it's a fire sale in Carolina. I hate to say it, but it's a fire sale in Carolina. Tampa should win this game. There's no way they lose this. If they lose this game to this team, I don't know what to say. Tampa wins, and they should win this going away. Anthony, it's yours.
All right, give me 1 second here. Give me 1 second here. All right, my thing was slow loading there, so all right, here we go. Just give me a moment here while I maintain my composure. All right, here we go. Apologies for the delay there, folks. All right, here we go. Live TV, you never know what happens. All right, here we go. Neither team is tearing it up offensively, so this could be a slugfest. Both teams are struggling on the run. Tampa Bay ranks last, averaging just 67.5 yards rushing a game. Carolina ranks 26th with about 91. Neither has been good on third down, with Tampa Bay ranking 22nd in efficiency at 37.8. Carolina coming in last at 23.6. The Buccaneers will beat the Panthers by 2 touchdowns. That doesn't sound like a bold prediction for a Tom Brady-led team, but they've dropped 3 of their last 4 and are averaging just 19 points a game, significantly down from the 30 points a game they averaged 1 season ago. They just haven't been able to put points on the board, but Carolina's 13.67 points a game are the lowest of any team in the league, so the Bucs have some cushion. It's a good week for them to rebound. And the stat to know is pretty irrelevant considering the recent trade because it was about Christian McCaffrey. 5 straight games with 100 scrimmage yards, longest active streak in the NFL, and his longest streak since a 9-gamer in 2019. Leonard Fournette has at least 8.5 fantasy points as a pass catcher in 4 straight weeks. When you combine that with 3 games north of 20 carries, you have one of the most fantasy-friendly roles in the league. Carolina is a league worst 1-5 against the spread this season. The Panthers are 3-17 outright and against the spread in their last 20 games. FPI loves Tampa in this one. 87% going with Tampa. Lock of the week. Tampa wins easily. 35-10. It's all about Tampa. All right. Michael Bullock has joined us. So, Bullock, come on in. We're going to get you caught up real quick before we you didn't miss much. We only just started a little while ago, because of Halloween Havoc and the whole 9 yards. So Bullock, come on in. Give us a quick thought about the Thursday night game with New Orleans and Arizona finally delivering a good game after those couple of clunkers.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, we finally got ourselves a very worthy Thursday night game. I mean, after all those clunkers that we had for the past 2 Thursday night games, and it was a high-scoring affair, and I think the right team to me came out on top here. So I think it was a nice win for the Arizona Cardinals, and now the question is, what's next for the Saints now after this loss? So a good win by the Cardinals, and it keeps them in the thick of things in the NFC West race.
All right, and we've only gotten into 2 games so far on the Week 7 docket. The Cleveland Browns against the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, I got the Baltimore Ravens winning this one.
And the game that we just finished talking about, and we're going to get your thoughts on it now, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the Carolina Panthers.
And like you just said, as I was just coming in, I think to me, this is easily the lock of the week here. I got Tampa running away with this one. I'm going to go 34-7 is going to be my final score.
All right, Bullock, keep your mic on because you're going to be leading off on our next matchup here since MF started the last one. Another Fox game here, interconference matchup. We have the Atlanta Falcons squaring off against the Cincinnati Bengals, the AFC champion Cincinnati Bengals from Paul Brown Stadium in Cincinnati. Brandon Gaudin's going to be sitting in for Chris Myers. He'll be working with Chris Myers' team of Robert Smith and Jennifer Hale. And just give me 1 second to set this up. The spread favors the Cincinnati Bengals, opening up as a 6.5-point favorite. And the series history between these two favors the Cincinnati Bengals by a count of 9-5. Cincinnati's won the last 2 meetings, including their last meeting in Atlanta in 2018, a wild one, 37-36. Cincinnati won in Atlanta. Last meeting in Cincinnati, 2014. Bengals also won that, 24-10. Atlanta's last win in Cincinnati was 2006, 29-27. So not much more to say here. Michael Bullock, the Atlanta Falcons picking up a huge win last week, upsetting the San Francisco 49ers at home at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, whereas the AFC champs picked up a big win of their own going into New Orleans and stealing one in the Superdome.
Yeah, I mean, Cincinnati, I really hope they can continue the momentum here. But yeah, Atlanta's certainly coming off of a huge win over the 49ers. And the thing is, can they carry that momentum into it? I mean, I think Atlanta can make it they can make it a close one because the thing is, Florio, I mean, what's the one thing that's really killed the Cincinnati Bengals? It's obviously, to me, the offensive line.
Yeah, the O-line, yeah.
Because to me, and I think if that defense of the Falcons can get to Joe Burrow, I think they can have a chance. I mean, they'll be close, but I just think in the end, Cincinnati, I think, will be too much. I got Cincinnati winning this one, and I think what I think could be a much closer game that everyone thinks it's going to be. So, to me, Florio, I think if Atlanta can pull off the upset, I think they just got to get to Joe Burrow. So, but in the end, I think it's going to be too much. I got Cincinnati winning in a much closer game than what everyone thinks.
Oh, hold on a minute. Okay, all right, here we go. Yep, well, another wonky moment here. All right, little got frozen on me again. All right, here we go. Now we're good. This game will be a battle of strategies. Atlanta's zone read scheme has been one of the best rushing attacks in the NFL this season. The Bengals are going up against the Falcons secondary, missing starters on the outside. The offense that can maximize its strength the most will be in the position to move over the 500 mark entering next week. With both of Atlanta's starting cornerbacks injured, Casey Hayward on injured reserve, A.J. Terrell limited with a thigh hamstring injury, Cincinnati exploits the Falcons' defense with 350 yards passing and 3 touchdowns, 2 of them to T. Higgins and 1 to former Atlanta tight end Hayden Hurst. He's not the only tight end who scores, though, as Falcons tight end Kyle Pitts doubles his touchdowns from last season and scores in his second straight game. The Falcons have scored 37 points in the first quarter this season, the third most in the NFL. The Bengals are not far behind with 34 points in the first quarter this season, tied for fourth most in the NFL. In 6 weeks, the Falcons have allowed 7 receivers to score at least 16 PPR fantasy points against them. Jamar Chase at 32.2 fantasy points is coming off his best game of the season in last week's win in New Orleans. Atlanta is 6-0 against the spread this season, the only undefeated team against the spread in the league this season. Cincinnati opening up 77% for the FBI. They love Cincinnati in this one, as do I. I think the Bengals will get it done here. I'm going to say 34-23. Cincinnati defeats Atlanta. So not much more to say here. MF, are we going to make it unanimous?
It is unanimous. I actually got Cincinnati winning the game as well. I do believe I'm with Michael Bullock on one thing. I think it's going to be closer than what the experts have it, but I do believe Cincinnati has the offensive firepower that they could run the score up, but I don't think they're going to do it. I think Atlanta's going to hang in there for most of the night because they do have some good weapons there. So they'll make it close, but I think Cincinnati will win, and they'll win pretty comfortably. So, Anthony, it's yours.
All right, and we move on to our next matchup, which comes in at number 5 on our side of the ledger, a cross-flex game. And no surprise, we end up getting another cross-flex game. There's cross-flexing on both networks, and we got utterly screwed on our side of the ledger, big time. I'll explain in a little bit because that's in the late game section. We got the Detroit Lions squaring off against the Dallas Cowboys. It's our number 5 game of the week, out of 6, by the way. AT&T Stadium, Arlington, Texas. And believe it or not, hello, friends. Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, and Tracy Wolfson are going to be on the call for this one. Dallas opening up as a 6.5-point favorite. And the series history with these two, looking it up, give me 1 second here. It favors the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas leads it all time, 15-11. Their last meeting, 2019 in Detroit, Dallas won it 35-27. Last meeting in Dallas, 2018, Dallas won 26-24. Detroit's last win in Dallas was back in 2011, 34-30, the final there. Dallas, including playoffs, Dallas has won the last 4 meetings in this series. So that's the story. So let's get into the Lions and the Cowboys here. Okay, it's a little higher up. All right, here we go. Will Dak Prescott play? Yes, he made it official Thursday after missing 5 games following surgery to repair a fractured right thumb. The Lions have the worst defense in terms of yards, 428.6, and points, 34 a game. So Prescott's return could be good timing, although the Cowboys do not want to become a pass-first, pass-only offense. Detroit is coming off its bye week after a 29-0 loss to Michael Bullock's New England Patriots, but its other 3 losses are by a combined 10 points. Currently in 3rd place in the NFC East, the Cowboys can't overlook the Lions, who are averaging 28 points a game. Detroit's offense will put up at least 28 points in Dallas. Yes, the Cowboys' defense is allowing just 16.33 points a game, good for third in the league, but the Lions are coming off a much-needed bye week after being shut out. And I sense some urgency among the players and coaching staff. Look for quarterback Jared Goff to get the offense back rolling, especially with a healthier Amon-Ra St. Brown as a receiving target. This will be the 5th meeting between Prescott and Goff, including playoffs. Both were selected in the 2016 draft. Prescott, 1-3 against Goff, tied for his most losses versus any starting quarterback. St. Brown was the 4th highest scoring fantasy receiver in the NFL through 2 weeks this season, but an injury and a week 6 bye have slowed some of his momentum. 4 different WR1s have crossed the 17 PPR fantasy point plateau versus Dallas this season, including A.J. Brown, Philadelphia's A.J. Brown last weekend. Detroit is 0-10-1 outright on the road under Dan Campbell, 6-5 against the spread. FPI likes Dallas in this one, 77% going with the Cowboys. I'm going with the Cowboys as well. Closer than you think, but I think Dallas pulls it out. I'm going to say 27-21. Dallas bounces back after that tough loss in Philly last Sunday night. So not much more to say here. So MF, Dallas, can they bounce back after that tough loss in Philly last week? I think they can.
Oh, without a doubt. I think Dallas is going to win this game, and I think they're going to win this one pretty comfortably. I don't think there's really anything more for us to say here. I think it's going to be a good matchup, and once it's all said and done, I do believe Dallas will win it. So, yeah, give me the Cowboys. I think they'll win it, and there's really nothing more to add. So, Anthony, Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I'm going to make it unanimous here. I got the Dallas Cowboys winning this one as well. I mean, I think they're going to bounce back after that loss to the Philadelphia Eagles last week. So give me the Cowboys to win it. Florio, let's move on.
Very well. And MF will be starting our next matchup, as this will be over on Fox, as we will have the New York Giants squaring off against the Jacksonville Jaguars, TIAA Bank Stadium in Jacksonville. Chris Myers, he's sitting in for Adam Amin. He's going to be working with Adam Amin's team of Mark Schlereth and Christina Pink. And the spread favors the Jags. Jacksonville opening up as a 3-point favorite, if you can believe in this one. In the series history, it favors the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville leads the all-time series 4-3. Their last meeting was 2018 in New York. Jacksonville won 20-15. They won the last 2 meetings in this series, including the last one in Jacksonville, 2014. Jacksonville won that 25-24. And by the way, guys, the Giants have never won in Jacksonville, believe it or not. They're 0-3 against Jacksonville all time in Jacksonville. Their only wins were all in the Meadowlands. So something to consider there. But I got to be honest, I think this is where the Giants can finally break through. So MF, the Giants riding high off that come from behind win in Baltimore, off to their best start in 6-7 years. Wow.
I think the last time that they've had a run like this was when the year they went all the way to the Super Bowl 46. I think this is that kind of a run right now. They've played amazing football. Daniel Jones has been good, not great, but good. Saquon Barkley has been healthy. You noticed it. He's been playing a lot more better. Yes, the receiving core needs a little extra help, but defensively, they're done very well. They were holding a lot of good teams in check for the most part. And I'm going to say this, man. We maybe did not have any respect for the New York Giants and everything else because we're thinking, they're going to be lackluster. They're not going to be great. They're going to be this, blah, 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 blah. Well, guess what? Put some respect in the New York Football Giants, man. They've been playing some amazing football lately. Yes, there's some people that believe that they're going to, there's a lot of people that think that they're going to lose this game because of they're in Jacksonville, everything else. But I got to say it, man. I love what I see from the Giants. I love the body of work that they've been laying out. And you know what, Anthony? You even admitted it. You said it yourself. You've been looking at these numbers, you've been looking at some of the stuff, and you're thinking, there's probably not going to be any way that they're going to win this game or something like that. No, I agree with you on this one. I think this will be their first time ever getting a victory in Jacksonville. They're about to go 6-1. Like, I'm really honest with you. I believe they will go 6-1. I got the New York Football Giants winning this game. Molly Q, I hope you got another Giants jersey because you're probably going to be wearing that on Monday for First Take. Nice Eli jersey, by the way. But I think she's going to be wearing yet another jersey to celebrate her team, the New York Football Giants. Dude, the biggest pleasant surprise of the NFL season right now. They've been so amazing lately. So, Michael Bullock, I gave it to you. Giants wins again on Sunday.
And I think we can say the same thing about that other New York team as well, but we'll get into them in a bit. Go ahead, Bullock.
Yeah, you could definitely. It's not just the Giants, but that other New York team has definitely been one of the biggest surprises of the season. But definitely the Giants are, and whatever Brian Daboll is doing with that team right now, I mean, he's really got this team playing hard. And yeah, the receiving core is still, I mean, it's a little iffy, but Daniel Jones, give him credit. I mean, he's played good, but not great. And Saquon Barkley has definitely stayed healthy, and it's really helped out. So I think this is where they're finally going to get their first win at the TIAA Bank Field here. So give me the Giants to win this one, and I think this this magical start to the season, I think, is going to continue. So it's yours, Florio.
Giants defensive coordinator Wink Martindale has called the most blitzes in the NFL with 92. So the expectation is he'll come after Trevor Lawrence tomorrow. However, Lawrence's numbers are actually better against the blitz. 67.3% completions, 80.3 QBR, 3 TDs, and 1 pick. Then when he's not blitzed, 64.9% completion, 42.9 QBR, 6 TDs, 3 picks. Lawrence has had issues with being patient against shell coverages. So might the Giants switch things up and pull back on the blitzes? Daniel Jones throws for over 300 yards. This is bold. Jones has topped 200 yards passing just once this season, but Jacksonville is allowing just 3.6 yards a rush, third best in the NFL. That will make the Giants unwillingly turn to their 31st ranked passing game, and Jones will come through. Having rookie wide receiver Wan'Dale Robinson will help. This season, the Giants have used play action at the second highest rate in the league, 38%. That has benefited Jones significantly as he ranks second in the league in total QBR and fourth in completion percentage on play action passes. Travis Etienne Jr. has picked up 157 yards on 20 carries over the last 2 weeks and seems to be distancing himself from James Robinson in this backfield. Jacksonville is 2-10 outright against the spread in its last 12 games as a favorite with 5 straight losses. And believe it or not, guys, the FPI loves Jacksonville. 73% going with Jacksonville to win this game. But with all due respect, I disagree with that. I got the New York Giants winning as well. I think it'll be closer than you think, but I think the Giants will pull it out. They are for real, so it's going to be very, very close. I'm going to say 21-20. I say the Giants barely pull it out in Jacksonville. So there isn't much more to say on that one. We got 2 early games left, including by default our game of the week here on our side of the ledger, as this game will determine first place, sole possession of first place in the AFC South, as it will be the Indianapolis Colts squaring off against the Tennessee Titans from Nissan Stadium in Nashville, Tennessee. Andrew Catalon, James Lawson, and Don Bell will be on the call for that one. And the spread favors Tennessee. Tennessee opening up as a 2.5-point favorite. And you recall, this is already the second meeting between these two teams, because some time ago, earlier this season, they met in Indianapolis, and as I recall, the Tennessee Titans went on to win that game. Just give me 1 second here. Yeah, they already met once this season, 3 weeks ago, as a matter of fact, and it was the Tennessee Titans winning that game by a score of 24-17. So Tennessee's already got a leg up on Indy, and they cut into Indy's all-time series lead 35. It's now 35-20 in favor of Indy. They've now won 4 in a row against the Colts, including yet another win in Indianapolis. They've now won 4 in a row in Indianapolis, but it's not in Indy this time. It's in Nashville, and Tennessee won in Nashville last year 25-16, and Indianapolis winning in Nashville, their last win was 2020, 34-17. So I do believe that Michael Bullock starts off on this one, if I recall correctly. So
Yep, it is me.
Yep. Okay. All right, Bullock. Game of the week on our side of the ledger: the Colts and the Titans. First sole possession of first place in the AFC South to the winner.
Yeah, this is definitely a big one here to determine who will get first place in the AFC South, and I think this could definitely be a close one. And you got the battle of probably 2 of the best running backs in the National Football League. You got Jonathan Taylor on one side with the Indianapolis Colts, and then of course you got Derrick Henry. So you know that the both sides are going to be relying on the running game with them. So I think it's only going to be a matter of who can stop who. It's going to be a very close one, but I have to give the edge to Tennessee here. They are at home, and I just think they're the better team here. So give me the Tennessee Titans to win this and take sole possession of first place. So it's yours, Florio.
Pass rushers: Rashad Weaver with 4, Danico Autry with 4, and Jeffrey Simmons 3.5. Give the Titans the most players with 3.5 or more sacks. Defensive coordinator Shane Bowen said he will rely on the front 4 to keep Colts quarterback Matt Ryan under duress to prevent him from getting the ball to his big group of pass catchers. But the Titans are facing a reshuffled offensive line, including former Titan Dennis Kelly, that did not allow a sack last week against the Jaguars. The Colts will lean into the heavy passing game they used last week against Jacksonville, and Ryan will have his 4th 300-yard passing performance of the season. The Colts have been among the NFL teams most committed to running the ball in recent seasons, but their struggles on the ground in 2022, coupled with their emerging receiving weapons, should further convince them that their best path to victory is through the air. The Titans have won 4 straight games against the Colts, their longest win streak against the Colts in franchise history, and those 4 wins came by an average of 9.5 points a game. Philadelphia's A.J. Brown, San Francisco's Deebo Samuel, and Dallas's CeeDee Lamb are just a few of the receivers who have fewer fantasy points over the last 2 weeks than Tennessee's Alec Pierce, or Indianapolis's Alec Pierce, I beg your pardon. Tennessee has covered 4 straight meetings against Indianapolis, including their Week 4 matchup. Over the last 10 seasons, when teams meet twice in a 5-week span, the team to cover the first meeting is 32, 53, and 2 against the spread in the rematch. FPI slightly likes Tennessee, 52%, just barely going with Tennessee. I'm going with Tennessee to win as well. I'm going to give you another 1-point outcome. I'm going to say 24-23. Tennessee gets by Indianapolis, completes the season sweep, and definitely takes over sole possession of first in the AFC South. But don't be surprised if Indy steals it like they did against Jacksonville. So definitely a lot to give in this one. So MF, this is even though it is the game of the week on our side, we're not doing it because we're now in baseball mode for the next couple of weeks. But let's get into it as if it was our game. Indianapolis, Tennessee, sole possession of first in the South to the winner. Tennessee got off to a rough start, but they bounced back as only they can. But the good news for Indy, Jonathan Taylor is finally back, and business is going to pick up in this one. Hello, friends.
No doubt. It's going to be a big matchup. This is going to be a big game. But I got to go with the Titans. I'm with you guys. I feel like the Titans are due. Defensively, they haven't had that many big moments. Yes, Tannehill hasn't been great, and we've had a couple of iffy moments defensively. But with the running attack, but I kind of feel like this is the moment for Tennessee, and they're at home. Give me the Titans to win it. So, Anthony, it's yours.
Okay, so with that, we move on, and I believe we're now at our final early game of the week. Yes, we are. This one over on Fox, as it will be the Green Bay Packers squaring off against the Washington Commanders. FedEx Field in Landover, Maryland, on Fox. And Adam Amin is sitting in for Joe Davis because Joe Davis is, as we all know, he's the voice of the baseball playoffs on Fox. Currently calling the NLCS, and he'll also be on the call for the World Series, as we all know, replacing Joe Buck when he left to go to ESPN with Troy Aikman, as we all know, earlier in the year. Adam Amin will be working with Joe Davis's crew, which is Daryl Moose Johnston and Pam Oliver. And the spread, I don't know if I mentioned it in the last one, but Tennessee is opening up as a 2.5-point favorite against Indianapolis, and Green Bay opening up as a 4.5-point favorite against Washington, just to let you all know. And the series history favors the Green Bay Packers 20-15 with a tie. The one tie was in 1933 at Lambeau Field, 7-7 tie. Packers have won the last two meetings, including last year in Lambeau. Green Bay won 24-10. Last meeting in Washington, 2018, and Washington actually won that 31-17. The Packers' last win in Washington was actually in a playoff game, believe it or not. It was in the wild card round. 35-18. Their last regular season win in Washington was 2004, back when Brett Favre was actually the quarterback, 28-14. So our final early game of the week. Let's dive on in. Let's dive on in, gentlemen, and here we go. Carson Wentz is out, as we all know. So Taylor Heinicke, quarterback Taylor Heinicke's return, could give Washington a jolt with his ability to extend plays and his knowledge of the offense. A lot of it will go back to protection. Washington starter Carson Wentz was sacked 23 times in 6 games, tied for most in the NFL, while the Packers' pressure percentage of 35.5 ranks third. In a 24-10 loss at Green Bay last year, Heinicke was 25 of 37 for 268 yards and a touchdown. But in the red zone, he was only 4 out of 8 with an interception. Because Green Bay ranks tied for 9th in the red zone, Heinicke will need success there in order for Washington to win. The Packers will actually keep Aaron Rodgers from getting hit so many times. Yes, that sounds like a big ask for an offensive line that gave up 9 quarterback hits last week against the Jets and against the Commanders' defense that ranks 4th in the NFL in sack percentage. But expect the Packers to make some changes on the offensive line that will pay dividends. The Packers have scored 107 points through 6 games this season, about 18 a game. That's their fewest points in any 6-game span with Aaron Rodgers as their starting quarterback. 135 is the fewest in any 7-game span. There have been 31 different quarterbacks to score at least 17 fantasy points in a game this season. Aaron Rodgers' name is not on that list. Green Bay is 0-3 against the spread in its last 3 games. The longest against the spread losing streak of Rodgers' career is 4 games, done several times. The FPI likes Green Bay in this one, about 66% going with Green Bay. I'm going with Green Bay to bounce back. Close game, but I think Green Bay pulls it out. I'm going to say 23-16. Green Bay steals one at FedEx Field tomorrow. So not much more to say here. MF, final early game of the week, Green Bay and Washington. The Packers looking to bounce back after getting embarrassed at home by the Jets last week. And Washington now has to begin life without Carson Wentz, who's going to be on the IR for at least the next 4 weeks.
Yeah, and that's a bad situation to be in. You got to believe Green Bay is going to win it. But the thing is can they really? Because Green Bay's been so bad this year. It almost makes me wonder. It makes me question if I should even pick Green Bay in this game. But I kind of feel like I got to give them one more chance. So I'm going to give the Packers one more shot. Maybe they'll turn it around. I got Green Bay winning, but honestly, I'm not 1,000% sure about it more than anything else. Michael Bullock, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I mean, it's been a tough start for the Packers offensively, and to the point they end up losing to the New York Jets, which nobody saw coming. But it's the offense that's just hasn't been helping them. And I did hear they're going to be getting Sammy Watkins back for this game, so maybe that could help Green Bay offensively. So we'll wait and see how it goes. But I got to go with Green Bay. I think they're going to look. If Carson Wentz was playing, maybe I would go with the Commanders, but I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers to win this one. So it's yours, Florio.
All right. So with that, we move on now to the late games of week number 7. And we started off with our default number 2 game of the week. And this one definitely took a big hit today with the news that came out. We got 4 late games, 2 on both networks, 2 at 4:05, 2 at 4:25, and we're going to start it off with our number 2 game of the week, default number 2 game of the week, mind you. 4:05 on CBS, as it will be the New York Jets squaring off against the Denver Broncos in Power Field at Mile High in Denver. Ian Eagle, Charles Davis, and Evan Washburn will be on the call for that one. And the spread favors the Jets. Jets opening up as a 1.5-point favorite. And Denver leads the all-time series 21-16 with a tie. That one tie was in 1963, 35-35 tie in New York. Last year, they met in Denver. Denver blew the Jets out of the water, 26-0. Last meeting in New York was 2000. Actually, no, we're talking about Denver strictly. Denver won 26-0 last year. The Jets' last win in Denver was 2010. That was a 24-20 final. So, all right. So MF, as I set you up here for this one, our default number 2 game of the week, Russell Wilson out. Brett Rippon out of formerly of Boise State. Brett Rippon will be starting at quarterback for Denver. But the real question is, we talked about the Giants earlier. I think it's high time we start putting some respect on the Jets. Unbelievable.
4-2, second place in the AFC East, right behind Buffalo. 1 game behind Buffalo. If anybody would have told us at the beginning of the year that this is what we were looking at right now, we probably would say you're out of your mind. But here are the Jets looking amazing. Sauce Gardner could be Defensive Player of the Year right now. Like, I know everybody's talking about from Dallas, and they're talking about him. But the thing is that when you got Sauce Gardner, a lockdown corner, and what he's been doing lately, oh my goodness. I'm going to say it, man. Robert Saleh, oh my goodness, man. We were very unsure about what you were going to do, how you were going to turn the team around. But the thing was, and I said it back on draft night, I said, give it 3 to 5 years and the Jets could be a threat. Oh no. They've accelerated that clock. They are a win team right now. Like, this team could make the playoffs and do some damage in the playoffs. That's how good they are. I believe that the Russell Wilson injury is going to hurt. I believe that Rippon will have a horrible afternoon. And believe it or not, Denver will blow out the Broncos. Broncos will get ran out of their own house. 24-7 is my final score. I got the New York Jets knocking off the Broncos with an emphatic beatdown and a major statement to the AFC, and more importantly, to put on notice Miami, Buffalo, and New England that the Jets are for real and they are a legit threat to the AFC Eastern Division crown. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
And the Bills and the Jets actually meet in a couple of weeks, and at the rate we're going, MF, it could be our game. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's time that we all start putting some respect into the New York Jets with the way they're playing. And we thought it would be a little bit of a time when it comes to rebuilding, but this whole thing is happening very, very quickly. So I think the other AFC East teams, the Dolphins, the Bills, and the Patriots, maybe need to start taking notice of the New York Jets and start taking the Jets seriously. And if this keeps up, Robert Saleh could be one of the favorites to win Coach of the Year. But we still got a long way to go here. But yeah, with the injury to Russell Wilson, I think it's going to be a tough day for Rippon and the rest of that Broncos team. I say the Jets win this one big. So, Florio, it is yours.
Since the Broncos defeated the Detroit Lions 38-10 last December 12th, they have averaged just 14 points in their last 5 home games. There is more than enough frustration to go around on the sideline and in the seats. And opposing teams have noticed they can largely eliminate the home field environment if they keep the Broncos out of the end zone early. And that hasn't been much of a problem so far this season. This next thing is going to be a little irrelevant because Russell Wilson's name is mentioned. QBs Zach Wilson and Russell Wilson will combine for less than 30 completions. This will be an ugly, grinded-out game with 2 good defenses in control. The Jets in recent weeks have shifted to a heavy ground game, taking pressure off Zach Wilson since his return from knee surgery. He completed only 10 passes last week. Russell Wilson and the Broncos have been struggling to score points, period. He also had only 10 completions last week. The Jets have had 0 turnovers in their last 2 games. They have not gone 3 straight games without a turnover since 2010. 4 straight, tied for a franchise record. Breece Hall's carry count has increased each week of his young career, and he has posted back-to-back games. Not a bad trend to take on a confident team facing a Broncos defense that is on short rest. Denver games are 5-1 to the under this season. Slight favorite for the Jets, 50.1%. 50.1% for the Jets. But I'm going with the New York Jets. I think it's going to be an ugly, low-scoring game. But I agree. I think the Jets pull it out. I'm going to say 19-13. The Jets hold off Denver and keep their winning ways going. So to the other 405 game on CBS, it's our Zonk game of the week, as it will be the Houston Texans squaring off against the Las Vegas Raiders from Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. The legendary Greg Gumbel, Adam Archuleta, AJ Ross will have the call for that one. And Las Vegas opening up as a 7-point favorite. And Houston leads the all-time series 7-4. Their last meeting was 2019 in Houston. Houston winning 27-24. Raiders last beat Houston in 2016 in Mexico City, 27-20. But Houston got them back in the playoffs the following later in that season. Houston's last win at the Raiders was 2014 when they won in Oakland 30-14. So Michael Bullock will lead off on this one. So Bullock, it's our Zonk game of the week. The Houston Texans and the Las Vegas Raiders. Raiders opening up as a 7-point favorite.
Yeah, I just think that I mean I think the Raiders should have no problem here. I mean, I just have no trust in this Houston Texans team here, and I think the Raiders will continue hopefully their turnaround, especially for Josh McDaniels, because McDaniels got up to such a very, very tough start, and hopefully the turnaround will continue for them. So I'm going to go with the Vegas Raiders to win this one. It's yours, Florio.
Believe it or not, guys, Raiders quarterback Derek Carr wanted to be a Houston Texan. Really. He is just 1-2 against Houston in his 9-year career, but when Carr came out of Fresno State in 2014, he hoped his older brother, David's old team, would select him at either number 1 overall, unlikely, or number 33, possibly. The Texans passed on both occasions, taking defensive end Jadeveon Clowney and guard Xavier Su'a-Filo. So I was kind of a little heartbroken over that, the younger Carr, drafted by the Raiders at number 36, said this week. He'll have another chance to break Houston's heart tomorrow in Las Vegas. The Texans will hold Carr to a passer rating of under 80. Carr's passer rating on the season is 87, but the Texans' pass defense is top 10 in a few categories. According to NFL's Next Gen Stats, the Texans' pass defense holds opposing quarterbacks to a passer rating of 73, fourth lowest in the NFL, 6 interceptions, the eighth most, and a completion percentage of 57, third lowest. Quarterbacks also have a QBR of 44.1, the ninth lowest in the NFL against the Texans' defense. The Texans have converted on 29% of third down attempts this season, the second lowest mark in the NFL, ahead of the Carolina Panthers. It's tied with the 2009 season for their second worst third down percentage through 5 games in franchise history. 17% in their inaugural season of 2002. Dameon Pierce's NFL debut was underwhelming from a usage standpoint, but after that week 1 letdown, the rookie has accounted for nearly 93% of running back carries in Houston. Las Vegas is 0-5 against the spread in its last 5 games off a bye. Overwhelming favorite for the FPI. They love Vegas. 81% going with Vegas. I'm going with Vegas as well. Easy win for them. I'm going to say 33-10, the Las Vegas Raiders, all over the Houston Texans at Allegiant. So, MF, your thoughts on our Zonk game of the week, the Texans and the Raiders?
Yeah, I'm also going with the Raiders as well. I just feel like they just haven't had any lucky breaks up to this point, and I do believe that they will get an opportunity. And yeah, I'm with you here, so I'm gonna go with Las Vegas to win it. So Vegas wins it. Really, nothing more to say. And yeah, it's yours, Anthony.
Yep, and we're on to our 2 425 games now, and they're both on Fox. The big one in a moment, but we got to get into the other one first, as it will feature a renewal of an old AFC West divisional rivalry from back in the day, the Seattle Seahawks squaring off against the Los Angeles Chargers from SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California, on Fox with Kevin Kugler, Mark Sanchez, and Laura Oakman. And the spread favors the Chargers. Chargers opening up as a 5.5-point favorite. Series history between these old division rivals, Seattle with a slight lead, only up 26-25 all time. Last meeting was 2018 in Seattle. Chargers won that one 25-17. They won the last 2 meetings, including the last meeting where the Chargers were the home team, and that was in 2014 in San Diego, 30-21. Seattle's last win at the Chargers was 2002 when they won in San Diego, 31-28 in overtime. So here we go. The Chargers are riding a 3-game win streak, but going to week 7 without their kicker, Dustin Hopkins, whose 4 field goals lifted the team to an overtime win in week number 6 over Denver. The Chargers offense will need to find a way to be more efficient and reach the end zone, which should be a reasonable expectation against the Seahawks defense that is allowing an average of 27.2 points a game, which is tied for 30th in the NFL. Geno Smith will throw for over 300 yards and a pair of touchdowns. Smith had a quiet game last week with under 200 passing yards and no touchdowns. But this matchup could be a favorable one. Per ESPN Stats and Information Research, Smith has the NFL's best total QBR at 89 against man coverage this season. The Chargers are using man coverage at the league's 3rd highest rate. Justin Herbert is expected to make his 39th career start. He needs 1 touchdown pass to become the 4th player in NFL history with 80 passing touchdowns in his first 40 career games. The others, Kansas City's Patrick Mahomes with 101, and Hall of Famers Dan Marino with 90 and Kurt Warner with 86. Pretty elite company, if I do say so myself. Mahomes had 40 touchdowns in 101 games, Marino 40 and 90, and Warner 40 and 86. Kenneth Walker III scored 19 fantasy points in his first career start last Sunday against Arizona, 21 of 23 running back carries. This week, he gets a leaky Charger run defense that is coming off playing on Monday night last week. Smith is 11-3 against the spread in his last 14 starts, 6-3 against the spread with Seattle. But the Chargers are the FPI favorite, 73.5%, 74% going with the Chargers. I'm going with the LA Chargers as well. My final score, 34-23, the Los Angeles Chargers over the Seattle Seahawks. And MF, the LA Chargers finally looking like that team that a lot of the experts had high expectations for this year.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. They've been doing a lot more than anything else. you know what? I gotta say, I think they've definitely been looking amazing right now. So yeah, I think the Chargers have turned it around, and I do believe the Chargers will win this game as well. So I really got nothing more to say. So Michael Bullock, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I think you could slowly but surely start to see this LA Chargers team starting to be like that team that we thought they were going to be at the beginning of the season, and if they could continue that, I think the the Chiefs could definitely have to look behind them and knowing that the Chargers are starting to charge them. So yeah, and I expect that momentum for the Chargers to continue. So I got LA winning this one. So it's yours, Florio.
All right, gentlemen, here we go. America's game of the week, and without a doubt, far and away the game of the week in the NFL overall. I cannot believe we ended up getting cross-flexed out of this one. It's mind-boggling. It should have been on our network, but it ended up being on Fox. But boy, what a cross-flex. The Kansas City Chiefs squaring off against the San Francisco 49ers from Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara. Kevin Burkhardt, Greg Olson, Aaron Andrews, Tom Rinaldi. Kansas City opening up as a 1.5-point favorite. The last meeting, we all know it. We all remember it. Super Bowl 54 in Miami, February 2020. The Kansas City Chiefs ending their 50-year Super Bowl drought, winning it, coming back from 10 down in the fourth quarter to win it 31-20 to win their first Lombardi in 50 years. The three of us had a wild night at the Dublin Rose, a wild and crazy night that we'll never forget for as long as we live. Last meeting in San Francisco was 2000. The last meeting overall was 2018 in Kansas City. Kansas City won 38-27. Last meeting in San Francisco, 2014, San Francisco winning 22-17. If you're wondering if the Chiefs have ever won in San Francisco, guys, they've only done it once. And that was all the way back in their very first meeting when they met for the very first time, all the way back in 1971. 26-17. That's the only time the Kansas City Chiefs have ever won in San Francisco. But that could very easily change tomorrow. So, MF, you lead it off here. America's game of the week on Fox, the overall game of the week, without a doubt. Kansas City, San Francisco, meeting for the first time since that unforgettable Super Bowl 54 we had a couple years ago.
Yeah, no doubt about it. This is going to be an interesting matchup, and the thing is what are we going to get? You know, what type of game are we going to be looking at? We know Kansas City kind of rose to the occasion when they won the Super Bowl, but they got in a way they kind of got exposed by Buffalo. Buffalo came out there, did what they needed to do. Yes, it was close. It was down to the wire, like we expected it to be, but Buffalo made the necessary plays and they won that game. And in turn, the 49ers, you know, a lot of people have been flying under the radar with San Fran because a lot of people thought that the Niners were dead after when Trey Lance got hurt, but then Jimmy Garoppolo basically started rising to the occasion again and, you know, showing why he is actually a pretty good quarterback in the NFL, and don't sleep on him. I kind of feel like this is kind of going to go to Kansas City. I think that they're going to be a little spitting mad knowing that they let that game get away from against Buffalo. And unfortunately, I think they're going to take it out on the Niners. So I got Kansas City winning it very close. I got 27-23. I got KC beating San Fran. So, Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, it's going to be a close one. And let's not forget another thing. Who's going to be playing in this game for the San Francisco 49ers? A man they just acquired this week.
That's right. I forgot to mention. Thanks for reminding me, Bullock. I got so caught up in the excitement of the game. Christian McCaffrey, now a 49er.
Yeah, Christian McCaffrey is going to make his debut with the 49ers after getting traded there from the Carolina Panthers. So that's really going to help that offense even more. So, and I think it's going to be even closer than it's going to be a really close game. But I'm with you, Fletch. I mean, you know the the Chiefs are probably upset after losing a very tough game to the Buffalo Bills last week, and I think this is going to be the bounce back game that they are looking for. Even though San Fran, they're going to make it tough on them and maybe use a lot of Christian McCaffrey here. So I got the Kansas City Chiefs winning this one, but if San Fran wins, I would not be surprised. So Kansas City wins. It's yours, Florio.
I wouldn't be either, Bullock, but we'll get into that in a moment. This is the first meeting between these teams since Super Bowl 54, with the Chiefs attempting to avoid consecutive losses for only the fourth time since quarterback Patrick Mahomes became the starter in 2018. One thing to watch here is how well Mahomes holds up against pressure. Mahomes leads the NFL in touchdowns per pass attempt when under pressure, while the Niners are fourth in the NFL in generating pressure on opposing quarterbacks. The Niners' defensive line is banged up, which means coordinator DeMeco Ryans might have to get creative to get after Mahomes. The Chiefs will hold the 49ers to under 100 rushing yards, well below San Francisco's season average of 124. The Chiefs have allowed 280 rushing yards in their last two games, but linebacker Willie Gay returns this week after a 4-game suspension. Gay is a difference maker for the Chiefs. He has the speed to chase down players that Kansas City's other linebackers don't. Mahomes will play in his 70th career regular season game tomorrow. He already owns the most passing yards, 20,727, and touchdown passes, 168, for any player through his first 70 games in NFL history. Jeff Wilson Jr.'s role was very fantasy-friendly in the first 3 weeks, but in the last 3, he has a total of 1 reception. This system can be gold when it's clicking, but the 49ers were all out of sorts last week in Atlanta, and there is concern it could happen again against the explosive Chiefs. Kansas City has covered the past 6 meetings since 2002. Kansas City, the FPI favorite, 72% going with Kansas City. I'm going with Kansas City as well. And MF, I agree with you on the score. We actually have the same score, believe it or not. I like that score as well. I'm going to say 27-23 as well.
Oh, that must be a
that?
first. I don't think we've ever had that happen.
Great minds think alike, as we always say. So, yeah. So I'm right there with you, MF. 27-23, Kansas City defeats San Francisco. So that takes care of the afternoon games. And now we got 2 games left, the primetime games. And gentlemen, both of your teams are going to be under the lights this week. And we started off with good old MF Michael Fletcher's team. As we now move on to Sunday Night Football on NBC, 8:20 kickoff, as it will feature the Pittsburgh Steelers squaring off against good old MF's team, the Miami Dolphins, Hard Rock Stadium, Miami, Florida, on NBC. You already know who's working that as always. Mike Tirico, Chris Collinsworth, Melissa Stark. Miami opening up as a 7.5-point favorite. Pittsburgh leads the all-time series 13-11. Their last meeting was 2019 in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh won 27-14. The last meeting in Miami was 2016. Miami winning that one 30-15. Pittsburgh's last win in Miami was 2010. That was a 23-22 final. It's going to be a special night. I'll set him up. I'm going to set MF up with all that in a little bit. But Michael Bullock, you'll be leading off, but I'm going to set you up, give you a small little setup here when it comes to Steelers and Dolphins. Steelers, huge win, beating your old friend Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last week. And the Miami Dolphins, they get Tua Tagovailoa back. So Michael Bullock, we started off with you, Steelers and Dolphins. Tomorrow night, Tua returns to Miami.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see how that's going to go, how Tua's going to be in his first game back after that concussion that he suffered, that vicious hit in that Thursday night game against the Bengals. So, in Pittsburgh, I mean, they definitely got some momentum coming off of a victory over the Bucs. So, could that continue? But I mean, with Tua back, I think the offense of the Miami Dolphins, I think it's going to be good again. I mean, especially with Tua throwing to his favorite weapons out there, especially Tyreek Hill. So I think this is the bounce back game for the Miami Dolphins here. I got the Dolphins winning this one. I'm gonna go 31-17 is my final score. So it's yours, Florio.
With Tua Tagovailoa under center, the Dolphins led the NFL in points per drive through the first 3 weeks of the season at 2.81. In his return from a 2-week absence, Tagovailoa and the Dolphins draw a Steelers defense, allowing the third most passing yards a game, 277.8, and the 12th most points per drive, 2.06. Armed with the league's leading and fifth leading receivers in Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waller, respectively, Tua Tagovailoa is poised for a big game tomorrow night. Minkah Fitzpatrick will score a defensive touchdown against his old team. Tomorrow night is all about returns for the Steelers, with both Brian Flores and Ryan Fitzpatrick and Minkah Fitzpatrick returning to Hard Rock Stadium to face the Dolphins for the first time since they were fired and traded, respectively. Fitzpatrick missed the previous game against the Bucs with a knee injury, but he's ready to go against his first NFL team. Tagovailoa is coming back from a scary concussion, and while he has just 3 interceptions on the season, if there's any rust to his game, Fitzpatrick will exploit it. Tyreek Hill has had 3 games with 150 receiving yards this season. He is one such game shy of tying Mark Duper's record in 1984 for the most such games in a single season in Dolphins history. Deontay Johnson is consistently ranked as the top receiver on this limited offense, but he has reached 14 fantasy points just once this season, and that was week 3 at Cleveland. Over the last 6 seasons, Miami is 11-3-1 against the spread as a home favorite. Miami, big FPI favorite, 75% going with the Miami Dolphins. I'm going with the Miami Dolphins to win as well. I'm going to say 29-13. The Miami Dolphins defeat the Pittsburgh Steelers tomorrow night on Sunday Night Football. All right, MF, I'm going to give you the grandiose setup here. Not just Tua coming back, but it's our number 3 game of the week. And by the way, it's going to be an extra special night in Miami because they will also be honoring the 50th anniversary of the only undefeated team in NFL history. You know them, you love them, the 1972 Miami Dolphins. So, and MF, it's special for you because it's not often you guys get a primetime game, but here you go. The Miami Dolphins in primetime, under the lights, Tua coming back, and honoring the 50th anniversary of the 72 team.
Yeah, and the thing is that it's Tua, it's the 72 Dolphins, throwback jerseys. They're wearing the 1972 Miami Dolphin jerseys on that night as well. And whenever they wear the throwbacks, I think they've only lost 1 game. And as a matter of fact, it was to Buffalo. The last game of I think it was the 2019 season. And that was the only time they ever lost in the throwback uniforms. So there's a lot riding on this game. Obviously, the health of Tua is the most important thing. Is he fully back at 100%? We don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. There was some concern with Pittsburgh about Kenny Pickett, but it sounds like Pickett will play tomorrow night. So that's fine for Pittsburgh. Tua is back. You already know if he gets in, you already know how lightning charged his offense is going to be. So, yes, I do believe Miami will turn it around. I do believe they'll win the game. So, yeah, Anthony, I got really nothing more to say. I got the Dolphins winning as well. So, let's go to Monday night.
And we go from MF's team to Michael Bullock's team as we close out this week 7 edition of NFL Saturday. Monday Night Football on ESPN. The Chicago Bears squaring off against Michael Bullock's New England Patriots from Gillette Stadium in Foxborough. You know who's working this as always. Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, Lisa Salters. New England opening up as an 8-point favorite. Series history, all New England in this one, 10-3 in favor of New England. They have won the last 5 meetings in a row against the Bears. The last one was 2018 in Chicago. New England won a wild one, 38-31. Last meeting in New England, 2014. New England, easy win, 51-23. The Chicago Bears have never won in Foxborough. You remember earlier we talked about the Giants having never won in Jacksonville? The Chicago Bears have never won in New England. All time, they are 0-4. 0-2 at the old Foxborough Stadium, 0-2 at Gillette Stadium. So, yeah. So with that, weather could be a factor with pockets of rain in the current forecast. That would put a premium on ball security, and the Bears have 14 fumbles this season, 5 lost, while the Patriots have 8, 5 lost. The Patriots are 4-0 all-time at home against the Bears, making Chicago one of 3 teams that has never recorded a road win in New England. If the Patriots beat the Bears, Bill Belichick will move past legendary Bears coach George Halas into sole possession of second place on the all-time wins list for head coaches with 325. Mac Jones makes his return after a 3-game absence due to a high ankle sprain and throws for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns against the Bears defense. The adjustments the Patriots made to help back up Bailey Zappi win 2 games in Jones' absence will carry over, including a heavy dose of play action for Jones. New England utilized play action on only 10.8% of his dropbacks, which is the lowest of any starting quarterback in the NFL. Most notably, Jones will have his first game all season without an interception. Justin Fields is 0-2 on Monday Night Football. Both losses coming last season. He has a Monday Night Football quarterback rating of 41.4, which ranks him 59th among 82 quarterbacks with multiple MNF starts since QBR started tracking in 2006. Nobody gets excited about plugging in Jacoby Myers, but the man has scored double-digit fantasy points in all 4 of his games this season. New England is 62-32 against the spread in October under Bill Belichick, with 5 straight covers, 3-0 against the spread in October this season. Overwhelming FPI favorite for New England, 80% going with the Patriots. I'm going with the New England Patriots to win this game as well, convincingly, 35-13, New England all over Chicago. MF, your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. And I gotta say, I think the defense have gotten a lot more better for New England. Even though at the beginning they weren't really too polished, it wasn't a great performance. But offensively, they've gotten so much better. And I do believe that they will overcome it. And I believe they'll get the victory here. So yeah, give me I do agree with what you just said. I got New England winning it, and this is not even going to be close. This is going to be a very comfortable victory. So, Michael Bullock, it's yours.
I'll tell you this, guys. I mean, I think the Patriots should be feeling good about themselves. I mean, being at 3-3. I mean, when Mac Jones went down and with that high ankle sprain and Bailey Zappi was in there, and people were thinking that this team was only going to be worse. I mean, yes, the defense was getting better, but they were worried about what the offense was, and Bailey Zappi has turned out to be. I mean, he's been playing so well. I mean, since he was taking over for Mac Jones, and yeah, I mean and he played really well. And with Mac Jones returning, I think the offense will continue to play well. The defense will continue to play well, and they'll get above 500. So I got the Patriots winning this one. So Florio, let's put a bow on this edition of NFL Saturday.
All right, Bullock, will do. And on this program next week, as part of week number 8, we're going to be recapping Thursday Night Football. We got another good one. The Baltimore Ravens against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Lamar Jackson against Tom Brady. Should be a good one on Thursday. Other notable games that we'll get into next week. Denver and Jacksonville. I only mention it because that game's going to be in London. We got the Arizona Cardinals against the Minnesota Vikings. The New England Patriots and the New York Jets. Huge game in the AFC East right there. The second rematch of last year's NFC Championship game. The San Francisco 49ers and the Los Angeles Rams at the scene of the crime, SoFi. The New York Giants against the Seattle Seahawks. Sunday Night Football next week. The Green Bay Packers and the Buffalo Bills. Aaron Rodgers versus Josh Allen. And then Halloween, Monday night, the Cincinnati Bengals and the Cleveland Browns. We'll get into all of it, and that'll be next week. So we'll next be with you tomorrow night, 10 p.m., for a special edition of Talking Wrestling TXN, as we will be having our recap of NXT Halloween Havoc. That main event, though. That's all I'm going to say. That's all we're going to – that's going to be the main tipping point. Although we're going to get into all of it, but that main event, you got to go out of your way to see it. Unfreaking believable. Spoiler alert for tomorrow. Monday night, we got Ridiculously Raw. We got Monday Night Raw as always. And of course, my Tony's take on Impact Wrestling and NXT Level Up. Wednesday Night Madness, hosted by good old MF Michael Fletcher, as we will have NXT, AEW Dynamite back on its normal night, and we'll preview that big Thursday night game with the Baltimore Ravens and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Thursday night, God willing, it will be College Football Thursday, and see what happens with that. Friday, we got the Cerebral Smack Talk with MF, as he'll have Friday Night Smack. We'll have Friday Night SmackDown, AEW Rampage, Mikey's Mindset. MF will recap the RWA Devils Night that he went to tonight, and then Saturday, NFL Saturday. So that's it. So until tomorrow night for our special edition of Talking Wrestling TXN, Anthony Florio here for good old MF Michael Fletcher, for Michael Bullock, and in spirit, of course, the First Lady, Dee Dee Woodson. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Sunday. And until tomorrow night for that Halloween Havoc recap edition of Talking Wrestling TXN, you've been watching the Week 7 edition of TXN Sports World NFL Saturday right here on the Zone 25 on YouTube and StreamYard.com. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long. Bye, everybody. Bye.